You're listening to the Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
We have heard rumors of something bionic and something iguana returning to Angry Marks. Yes, the man who spoke for the very first time on these airwaves is back on the network. Yes, Bionic Iguana tonight is in chat for all of you AMP fans. Join us. But with me here on the airwaves, and I apologize in advance for my hoarse voice tonight, because I've been yelling his name, hoping he'd be here tonight. I'm talking about our very own Big Dick. Big Dick, are you with us? I might be yelling some more.
Oh, man, just right at the start of the show, and his phone line drops.
Love it. Well, it is the Bionic Iguana edition of Raw Reaction. And you know what? I'm excited because Raw, we've had our issues with it over the last couple of weeks, but tonight was one of the best shows we've had in some time. Very exciting show tonight. Killer Kev, thanks for joining us and producing the show tonight. We're excited about covering it. And as I say that, Bionic Iguana leaves in chat as well. So we are littered with exits to start the hour.
We've already lost 50% of our audience.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Well, you know, what I want to cover tonight is something very important. The return of a hardcore legend, Mick Foley, tonight. Now, Killer Kev, Mick Foley wasn't just there for no reason. He was there to talk about the dues that are paid in the Hell in the Cell and the price people will have to pay in the Hell in the Cell. And we saw Dean Ambrose come out to ringside tonight to talk about his match with Seth Rollins. How did you feel, Killer Kev, about the promo that Dean Ambrose cut tonight?
That's just classic old school promo work there. The kind of promos that Dean Ambrose delivers, you're not learning that at WWE's training facility down in Florida. That's the only kind of promos that you can learn by years of working in front of indie crowds, in front of 100 and 200 people, and learning how to entertain at the small level so that you can learn how to entertain at the big level.
Do you think WWE let him to just go tonight, or do you think that was scripted?
I think they're letting him do whatever the heck he wants right now.
Yeah,
I mean, he's on fire. I was gonna save this for later. What do you guys think? What is the main event at the pay-per-view? Is it going to be Cena Orton, or is it going to be Ambrose Rollins?
I think it's Ambrose Rollins after what happened tonight.
I definitely think the same thing.
I'd like it to, but I think it's going to be Orton and Cena. Yay, because one time is never enough with those two. Back to Tenzai's question though. I think at this point they're probably saying to Ambrose, you know what? Think of something, bring it to us, and more than likely we're just going to let you run with it. I don't think it's completely off the hook. But I think Ambrose is probably definitely running things in that department.
I guess I
mean, he's had go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think he's had a lot of freedom anyway. I don't know if it's just the way he carries himself backstage or whatever. But, I mean, even some of the moves when they first came out, he's always, I mean, I've said this forever. I mean, he's always freaking putting together spectacular moves, and it seems like every other match I see, it's either a move that he's created, which is like really cool, or like a new move that you wouldn't expect, and like you'd be surprised that they're letting somebody do it. But like you almost feel like he's coming up with this stuff and saying, "Hey, check out this cool new move. This is gonna be my move now, or one of my moves."
He's very fresh. I would agree with that. whether it's his approach on the mic work or the moveset he uses for a particular match. We saw him with the kendo stick tonight in the main event. I mean, he has a moveset like the White Russian leg sweep that, we've seen him use with the kendo stick. He has his own set of moves around a stick. I mean, the guy could wrestle a broom for 30 minutes and it would be interesting and it would be entertaining. He's that good. Now, I guess back to the promo, what I want to ask you guys is I just thought it was a little bit racy in a great way. It was awesome. When he was beating up the Seth Rollins and effigy, he basically took a screwdriver and hammer to the face of Seth Rollins and effigy and was carving him up and hammering him and basically was telling the crowd how much he was going to mash him up. And then he said, I would on Sunday stomp your testicles out if I could, but you've already given them to the authority. I was like, wow, that's pretty hardcore for, the PG generation or the G generation. That I was surprised he did that. I don't know. What were your thoughts on it? It got my attention.
I think it got a little PG-13 tonight. We had during their promo at the top of the first hour, Cena and Orton definitely dropped the ass bomb or something like that. I forget. They definitely dropped a curse or two in each of their promos, which was sort of surprising.
Maybe it's just me. I'm sorry to chime in. Maybe it's just me, but if he had dropped the word balls, I don't think anybody would have cared. For some reason, saying testicles, that just sounds way more graphic, even though it's more technical and correct.
It's Hell in the Cell. It's going to get graphic, and that's the whole point. And that's why Mick Foley came out. And I will tell you, to your point, Kev, about the power of the promo in general, when you deliver a promo like Ambrose did tonight, I think Foley did the same thing back at him because I have never seen a main eventer legend like Foley give that rub that you usually get when you beat a legend or you have a match with a legend in just an effective promo when basically Foley acknowledged and Ambrose acknowledged how they're so much alike and how Ambrose was like, if any, no one in that locker room understands me, but you know what? If anyone does, you know where I'm coming from about what he's going to do in the Hell in the Cell. And Foley just gave him a look like you could see the connection, you could see the rub between Foley and Ambrose. And I thought that was a pretty cool moment, maybe one of the best moments I've seen not wrestled on WWE TV this year, where Foley almost passed the torch and just by just eye contact. It was pretty awesome. It was a pretty awesome moment.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Again, I don't know what goes on backstage at WWE as much as I'd like to tell you I do, but it almost seems like just all the guys in the Shield, but especially Ambrose, are just like really over with like the legends and just really respectful and just held in high regard. So I think that, like you said, I think that they're sort of proving themselves, and it was cool to see. It was cool to see Mick Foley completely unexpected come out there. I thought it was going to be something cheesy with the talent or the backstage agents holding back Seth Rollins from fighting Dean Ambrose or something stupid like that. But no, it was completely unexpected, and it was awesome to see Mick Foley back.
Exactly, and this is going to be the match to see at the pay-per-view. So if you're going to buy Hell in the Cell or buy WWE Network for Hell in the Cell, this is the match you want to see. And, I thought Mick Foley made a cool comment because it actually runs parallel to the match they already had. He said, you know what? I think Seth Rollins, you can beat Mick Foley or can beat Dean Ambrose. I think you would go over Dean Ambrose, but you know what? This is Hell in the Cell. You're not going to beat Dean Ambrose in Hell in the Cell. And I thought that was really cool. So, this is the match to get. And I think the numbers promo they ran tonight, which was really cool, about how only 29 men have ever entered the Hell in the Cell, how 11 have only won matches, and 18 have never went on to wrestle one of these again. It was really cool how they built up the Hell in the Cell. The Hell in the Cell even getting rubbed as a gimmick match. They really built it up, and I thought that was really cool and made it special. Parallel, I wouldn't say I'm as excited about John Cena and Randy Orton. How about you?
You know what? I'm a little bit more excited now that they actually have points for the match. I think that this is going to be a good match. It's not going to be the match that steals the show, but I think it could be a good match. And it sort of gives us. I like it because I really like it for a couple reasons. One of which gets to the end of the show, but number one, it gives some clarity to, hey, what's going on with the title picture? Like, there's actually going to have to be what's the next pay-per-view? Survivor Series. There's actually a title event, so it's either going to be Randy Orton or John Cena. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I feel like Orton's getting almost like the Bray Wyatt love. I used to say it seems like the really smart fans are starting to really get into him. I don't know if it was that stupid, or do you see that thing with all the videos where they implanted RKO over that had like 5 million views last week or something?
The RKO meme is everywhere.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I don't know if you saw the link, Angry Tensai or Kev, I sent you guys on Facebook, but there's like some Scottish League team who they scored a goal, and somebody literally came out and RKO'd one of his teammates.
Yeah, I actually saw that a couple of days before you sent that to me. That's amazing. And Randy Orton tweeted about it. He sent a tweet. He actually sent a tweet out to the player that did it. He said he needed to work on his form.
That's freaking cool. But yeah, I could see Orton going to face Lesnar at the next pay-per-view. Just because, I mean, think about it. We've seen Cena do it against Lesnar. We haven't seen Orton do it. And then you could do a Orton versus Lesnar match, or you could do Orton, Lesnar, and Seth Rollins, cashing in his Money in the Bank, possibly.
Right, and I think that might be why Rollins gave away, or suggested to Triple H that his Hell in the Cell match, Randy Orton's, is for a title shot. But logically, didn't Ambrose beat Orton to get Rollins? So wouldn't Ambrose technically be in the spot for his match to be the number one contender's match? I'm a little confused on why they picked the Cena Orton match, but I guess the way they wrote that in was Seth it up.
I think it's just a good way to make the match substantial, because and the thing is, it sort of gives it away if they're saying, oh, the stipulation on the Ambrose and Rollins match is the winner gets a title shot. Hey, guess Rollins has a title shot and it's in his back pocket anyway, so it's not as much. And it would take away from the storyline if Dean Ambrose just wants to kick the shit out of him.
Right.
So, I mean, Dean Ambrose isn't trying to get a championship. He's trying to win a fight. I mean, I could almost see the next pay-per-view being Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar and John Cena versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose.
Well, you know what? But it's back to that point, and Seth Draken just came into chat, and he just said the same thing I just said. He said, by the way, nice of the loser of that Ambrose-Cena match to get a chance to be number one contender. I just don't understand that, but whatever. It should be interesting nonetheless, the two Hell in the Cell matches. I thought, we've already covered the power of the promo with Ambrose and Foley. I wouldn't say the Orton Cena promo was very bad either. I thought it was very good, actually. This is the 9th match between these guys with 4 wins, 9th match on pay-per-views with 4 wins for each of them. This is their rubber match. I thought it was interesting how Paul Heyman came out and really discredited both Cena and Orton, how it really doesn't matter who wins. You guys will go on to take on Randy or go on to take on Brock Lesnar. And, I really thought he kind of shit on both of those guys in kind of a snide way. But it showed how opportunistic Randy Orton is when he RKO'd both John Cena and Paul Heyman, which I thought was very cool. But John Cena was losing his cool for the first time in a long time. He called himself the man and basically said there's no way Randy Orton's going to win. And I don't know. I thought it was a rather intense promo. I think John Cena's promos this year have been very good, dating all the way back to his feud with the Wyatts. So I think he's upped his game on the mic this year for sure.
Yeah, and he's I hate to say it. I mean, maybe this is just Kansas City, but it seems like aligning him with Ambrose has given him more of a rub. It always felt like with Daniel Bryan, when Daniel Bryan was getting his rub and Cena came out, it was sort of like, hey, good job, little guy. Like, I'm like passing torch. I like you. with Ambrose, it seems like more of like a mutual respect and fighting side by side.
Yep, I can see that. Yeah, Ambrose is really fit in very well to the main event card for sure. Speaking of which, my question to you is, Rusev tonight, coming into his big feud with the Big Show, have you ever, Big E Langston aside, yes, we see once again Rusev in the physical contest with Big E Langston, where Big E eventually gets beat, taps out. Same story as the previous 8 times they fought. Please explain to me the aftermath of the Rusev Big E Langston match, subsequently followed by Big Show's promo.
Okay, well, basically, Rusev continued the last 5 months of squashing Big E Langston since his last match with Rusev. So, after the match, he's celebrating. He says, hey, I want to see the real red, white, and blue come down, thinking his flags would come down. It's waiting a minute. Big Show pops up on screen. He's basically sitting there laughing. Big, fat, Old Glory fell down behind Rusev, and they started. What song were they playing?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know. Kev, help us out. That'd be awesome. But
I missed that part too. So
I do recall Rusev being very angry and trying to rip down the flag when the biggest piece of wrestle crap of 2014 occurred. What was that wrestle crap, Vic?
A service member came into the ring to confront Rusev before he could pull down the flag, which basically resulted in the service member getting kicked in the face and basically selling it like he got freaking shot in the head.
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, wow, talk about Cell City. What I want...
I liked this part by the WWE. Before this happened, I'm dreading this match because you know what's going to happen, or
what?
know what? I mean, I don't believe anything else would happen other than Rusev beats Big Show because he's already beat him and he's been dominant. And the only time he doesn't beat, or the only time that Big Show gets better of him is when Mark Henry interferes or they get into some sort of a fight after the match, and Big Show will knock him out. But Rusev's getting the better of him in the ring. So I think there's no way that he beats or that he loses to Big Show. But after this, I think that could sort of change it. I was originally thinking this is going to be where Mark Henry and Big Show clash at the pay-per-view. Mark Henry comes out, try to help him. Now, I don't necessarily know what's going to happen, but the promo after Big Show apparently came out from the back to carry this guy back out of the ring and back to the dressing room. And then he came out and he was like fake crying in the ring and just like really, really upset. Just too over the top for me. And my fear in seeing that is that they're rushing this angle through. This is going to be Rusev's first loss.
No way.
And this
no way.
Sit in corner. I hope to God not.
Rusev is not losing this one. No way. No way, no how.
Another question for you. I didn't get a great look at this, the guy who did the run-in, the crowd service member.
Yeah.
But I feel like, Kev, maybe you could fill us in. Is he on NXT or something like that?
I didn't actually see the part where he ran in, so I have no idea who it was. But let me see if the rest of the internet knows.
The internet knows it. I mean, if he comes out, if he's like either like Big Show's cause, or he's like, oh, I've always wanted to be a professional wrestler, and I'm getting my start, and he gets like a 2-month rub, and maybe he gets a win over Rusev.
Actually, it was Angry Marks' own Mr. Custer who joined the military, and that was the thanks he got. He got kicked in the face. One thing I can tell you about that whole segment, I want everyone who watched that or has access to YouTube or anywhere to watch that piece of footage. I guess the security guard was supposed to like hold back that soldier so he couldn't get into the ring. Like just kind of make it look like there was a struggle, but he got in anyway because he was so enraged. But what happened was the security guy somehow outside got like distracted, and basically it just looks like the soldier is having a seizure trying to get into the ring because the person he was supposed to kind of shake off never really tried to hold him. So it just looks terrible. He's just like wigging out, getting into the ring. It's pretty wrestle crap. And then for the Big Show to go cry again. Oh my God, Big Show, you're the only lowlight of what was an awesome show. You're going to job to Rusev. That's it. Face it.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to beat Rusev, but I pray to God it's not Big Show.
They're saving him for Cena.
This is worse. This is worse than his investments in strip malls.
I agree with you. Let me ask you this. You know who I think was the star of the night? Do you agree? Well, we know Dean Ambrose was amazing, but was Damian Mizdow not the light of your life tonight?
You know what? I really like where they're starting to go with this angle, like last 2-3 weeks or so. I'm thinking at the pay-per-view, you get Mizdow, you get Miz, and you get the title strap. A 3-way dance with Sheamus.
And Mizdow walks out with it.
Yeah.
By accident.
Yeah, exactly. Miz hits his finishing move, and then somehow Mizdow gets the cover, or something like that.
Dude, the crowd would love it. It would be awesome. I mean,
so
WWE is clearly writing, based on this match tonight, they clearly are responding to the fans, and that's great, because they're showing their...
I've been listening to our show.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You've seen, like, there's, like, we get, like, 1,000 listens a week. I mean, I figure it's, like, us, like, maybe 10 times, our parents, like, maybe 20 times.
Yep.
And the rest of it is just WWE staff and writers. And they're like, wow, these guys have good ideas.
And E125 at AOL.com.
and Sexy Kitty 20 or 69.
Yes, always. Well, you know, I don't know. I mean, I look at Mizdow, and you know, that was it was a pretty good match because it had a lot of players in it. You had Sheamus and the Usos versus the Miz and Mizdow and the Dust Brothers. The Dust Brothers are going to defend their titles against the Usos at the pay-per-view.
Pre-show.
They're on the pre-show?
They should be.
I don't think that one will be, but I think it'll definitely go the way of the Dust Brothers. They're not going to take the belts off them yet, but
yeah,
I do agree with you. I think somehow Sandow is going to wind up in that match on Sunday, and he's going to walk out with it. I wouldn't be surprised. But
yeah, really hoping.
What I liked is the Miz was actually really happy that Mizdow won. Like, really was excited, and he kept saying,
"Yeah, but then I won."
Yeah, but they are each other, so it makes sense.
Yeah. That's sort of. I thought it was funny because they're both sitting there like, won.
But I think the only reason Mizdow was saying I won was because Miz did, and he's imitating him.
Yeah, right.
It was awesome. It was great TV.
That's good acting. That's good acting.
Well,
I would probably prefer the point.
Well, I think, you know, for Sheamus too. I mean, he's lost some matches here and there, and he's still legit. So he's a guy that, you know, it's nice to see. Like, at one time he was like a Rusev. It's nice to see he can lay down every once in a while. And although this was kind of a bullshit roll up, it's good to see, you know, that he can still look strong regardless. So that's good. One match I didn't like in the same vein, I thought Sheamus still looked strong as U.S. champion, you know, and he'll be fine going into the pay-per-view, and he might be fine losing the title because he's Sheamus. Dolph Ziggler, man, they just someone doesn't like him. I mean, you put the Intercontinental Champion on this guy, number 2 title in the company, and WWE has him job clean on an uppercut to Cesaro in a non-title match, and then he gets his ass beat after the match and equalized. I just don't understand. Or neutralized, excuse me.
I have 2 things where I saw it going. I sort of expected Cesaro to win. Uppercut was pretty lame. I was hoping he'd do like that back cradle off the top rope or something with somebody like Ziggler, but maybe they're saving that for pay-per-view. I think part of the reason they had him win is because they hadn't set up the match yet. Because they were saying during the match, the commentators were saying, "Wow, if he ends up winning, if Cesaro ends up winning, he'd be in line for an Intercontinental title shot." So I think they were setting it up. So, like, you listen to the announcers, okay, well, that makes sense. If he wins, he'll get a title shot. So, I mean, it could be on the pay-per-view. It could be on the pre-show. Not really sure where I'd rank it. I'd probably put it on the show just because I think it'd be a hell of a match. I think they could do 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't get much time tonight, about 7 minutes, but...
I did enjoy that. These are two of my favorite technical wrestlers right now. So I did enjoy that very much.
I get it, Vic, but it goes back to what we were saying last week about the lazy booking. To continuously job the U.S. and Intercontinental champions, it's almost like a guaranteed loss sentence. Like, oh, well, now we've made you a champion, but now you're basically going to lose up until the pay-per-view, and you're going to win that match, keep the title for another month, and then lose, and you'll probably keep it for another month. And it's like, it's just lazy booking. Like, they don't book the WWE title like they do the tag team and the secondary titles. Because I feel like the tag team champions and the secondary titles are always losing their non-title matches. And the WWE title never jobs ever unless they're dropping the title. And it just makes all the champions look weak. And I can't believe no one's figured this out by now. I mean, this has been the last 8 years of WWE TV. I agree. Seth Jenkins said the US and IC titles are cursed. They absolutely are. It is like a death sentence of losses unless you're defending the title. It's such crappy booking. Like, let an IC or US title guy win a match when the title's not on the line. Why not? I mean, they can have matches just like everybody else, but you have to earn your way up to have a match with them. And you know what? When they wrestle on SmackDown and Raw, or maybe on SmackDown everything's non-title, and then on Raw it's for the title. I don't know. I just don't think I don't like the way they book these titles. It's very poor. But anyway, Big Dick, I don't know. I mean, WWE, they had a great show tonight regardless. The action was good. This was a good match. The Dust Brothers 6-man match we already said was good. We loved the interview segments with Ambrose and Rollins. We talked about that to start off the show. We loved Cena and Orton. You know, the show was good. I think Rusev was the only low point. The women mixed it up tonight. You know, I'm indifferent on the AJ Lee versus Alicia Fox match, but it didn't bother me because it did what it had to do. It furthered the feud between Paige and AJ Lee. Paige will have the title rematch at pay-per-view, and it solidifies that Alicia Fox is an ally to Paige, because those of you who didn't see it, Alicia Fox was able to get a cheap roll-up win over AJ Lee because they teased Paige getting into a fight with Paige getting into a fight with Alicia. It really distracted AJ, caught her off guard. It was really just a plan and a distraction, and Alicia and Paige outsmart AJ, and AJ didn't look too happy. So interesting nonetheless. Any predictions for that one, Big Dick? Probably not. I personally think AJ Lee will retain her title versus Paige at the pay-per-view. There's just no reason to put it on Paige at this point. She's had a run and it wasn't really that great, but it is good to see her in the main pieces. Other than that, there was another Divas match for those of you into that sort of thing. Brie Bella versus Summer Rae. I'll just sum this up for you. In a match where Brie Bella gets on a top rope or whatever, the second rope, and screams Brie mode out loud, that's just not for me. What is Brie mode? I don't know. And why would you scream that? It's terrible. Brie Bella is terrible. She absolutely is terrible.
Yeah.
She wins this match.
Yeah, I hate the entire angle based on this match. I think we were saying before the show, this was a lot like an old Different Strokes episode where Arnold had to be Willis's servant for a week or something along those lines. So I expect some more very lighthearted booking in that regard over the next month. Which, you know what? If I'd much rather look at Nikki Bella wearing something skimpy and silly than have to watch Gator Hater and Los Matadors wrestle in front of us.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel Conrad Bain was a good actor?
I do.
He was, just in case you don't recall, Big Dick, he was Mr. Drummond.
I think he was a very good actor.
Do you think Mr.
He
Drummond...
actually had 2 orphans in real life.
I don't know. I just thought for him to give Arnold and Willis the chance that he did was amazing. The only thing I would critique Mr. Drummond on is he went through maids like I go through iced coffees during a week. I mean, he had a new one every show. I mean, there was a million of them. There was Adelaine, there was Pearl, and then there was Mrs. Garrett, too. I mean, he literally had 3 different housekeepers. I think there was...
Yeah, but I think he might have been dipping a pen and company ink there.
Oh, God, yeah. He was taking Adelaide to school. And those of you who don't remember, Adelaide was like this little 90-year-old woman, and man, did Mr. Drummond have an eye for her. Mrs. Garrett, however, wouldn't fall for her charms. Mrs. Garrett's been around the block. And those of you who saw the spinoff, what was it? The Facts of Life. She's not going to fall for that sort of thing. That woman is well-schooled and well-trained, and she doesn't need Big Vic in her life, if you know what I'm saying. I actually said your name right for once, and that was on purpose. Pearl, on the other hand, that woman...
Oh, she was getting some pearls from Mr. Drummond.
You run into her at 1:30 a.m. at a bar. Let me tell you something. I'll say this.
Pearl necklaces.
There would be ass play, Big Dick. That's all I'm going to say. There would be ass play.
Wow. I was just going to get pearl necklace, but you had to go to ass play.
Dude, Pearl is a dirty, dirty girl. Anyway, and that's what Brie Mode's all about, I would assume. Anyway, that really covers the Divas division. Not that they deserve any more time than they've already gotten tonight. But I liked the AJ Alicia match because I thought it advanced the feud. We went through that. The only other thing I'd bring up, Big Dick, is the main event. The main event was booked by Triple H himself. It was John Cena and Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, and Kane, which at one point actually turned into a Hell in a Cell handicap match. I thought this was going to be a giant cluster F in the same match we've seen over and over again, but mixed up with different people in it. This was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, it was it was pretty cool. I got a little nervous there with Dean Ambrose doing a diving headbutt in the Hell in a Cell match, like less than a week away from the actual match, because I could see him like separating his shoulder or breaking his wrist or something stupid like that to keep him out of the pay-per-view at this point, which would be a freaking clusterfuck if that happened. But I liked a lot about this match. Probably one of my favorite things about it is the finish. I was thinking to myself during a match, okay, you know what? It's going to be Cena or Ambrose getting the pin on Kane. Just because Kane's not in the pay-per-view, he's sort of a stooge, sort of the fifth wheel here, and like Kane's going to take the fall. And he's going to put over either Cena or Ambrose. But no, Randy Orton got the fall, and he got it on Dean Ambrose, which I was pretty shocked about. I was pretty shocked and pleasantly surprised. And then the real shocker of this was Seth Rollins curb stomping Randy Orton immediately after getting the pin and winning the match.
That was a shocker. Now, just recapping, Kane did show a lot of leadership throughout the night. He tried to keep everybody on the same page. And even in this match, he was really directing traffic. So I thought Kane actually stepped up in a lot of ways tonight. Randy Orton won the match with the RKO. I, like you, was surprised Ambrose took the fall the way he did. I actually would have thought Cena would even have taken the fall before Ambrose. I would say, to your one comment about Ambrose taking a diving headbutt, how about Seth Rollins throwing himself into the cage the way he did? My God, it looked like a fly, like falling up, like running into a windshield. I mean, it was just crazy. I think they showed what they're gonna do in the cage. If kendo sticks are involved, loving the Dean Ambrose Kane kendo stick moveset. He really shined in this match. Seth Rollins had a great spot where he was about to get put through a table, and he's just so slick and smooth. He flipped the table over while he was about to go through it. He grabbed his hand, just flipped over the table so Cena couldn't flip him. It just shows how good these guys are. They got the psychology, they got everything.
Yeah.
But to your point,
I think when they threw when they threw Cena over the announce table, it actually looked like they screwed it up. Like it looked like they weren't trying to throw him over it; they were trying to throw him on it. And he ended up like slamming. I think he slammed into Cole and JBL pretty good, or basically had him scattering pretty quick. But that definitely didn't seem like that was planned. So that was interesting to watch.
Well, I know JBL could take the hit, that's for sure. Well, to your point though about the end of the match taking you by surprise, well, I gotta ask you, I have no idea why at this point Seth Rollins would do this going into a Sunday pay-per-view and curb stomp Orton. I mean, why would he have done that? And I mean, for the first time ever, I don't really have an opinion or really understand what they're building up to, but what do you think?
You know what? I like it because it opens up the possibility of even more matches. Like, you can look at the top 4 or 5 stars in WWE and say, okay, the 4 or 5 stars like going in this pay-per-view at least, any of them can fight each other.
Right.
Pretty much. I mean, you have Ambrose, Cena, Ambrose, everybody else. Cena, Orton, next pay-per-view. After that, hey, I get my shot at Seth Rollins. And now you have Randy Orton, who obviously Cena get a pay-per-view. Dean Ambrose, I'm sure they could find a reason to fight. And now Seth Rollins.
I agree with you, and that's what makes it so unpredictable and such a great pay-per-view. I remember WrestleMania, I think it was WrestleMania 18, where NWO, we had Hogan versus The Rock. I want to say it was Scott Hall versus Stone Cold, and Nash also was supposed to have a match, and he got injured, I believe. But what was interesting was all the main storylines were intertwined in those NWO matches or that group of wrestlers. And I really liked that. And I think that this has that feel to it that all the storylines are intertwined. So you can do what you're saying. You can go which way you want to go. And most importantly, we as the fans don't know what's going to happen next. And when we don't know what happens next, we're going to tune in. And I want to find out on the cliffhanger, why did Rollins do what he did? It's going to be interesting. Now, that really covers Raw. Now, my question to you would be, do you think, I think you said it already, do you think I believe Dean Ambrose will beat Seth Rollins. Do you think Seth Rollins will win that?
I think Ambrose gets the win. I think Seth Rollins keeps the briefcase. And I don't know where you go. I mean, I think I feel like I can pick the matches pretty good here, or I'd like to think I can. But I can't tell you a single match from the next pay-per-view. No. Other than possible Orton versus Lesnar.
Killer Cap, do you think Ambrose will win, or what? I mean, I would think that was the point of Mick Foley tonight, and the build they gave him. What do you think?
No, it is going to be Seth Rollins that wins.
Really, and
wow.
Why do you think that?
Because Ambrose is just such a far and away over star. He doesn't need the win. A win is not going to advance his career in this company or anything.
Seth Rollins is pretty hated right about now.
Yeah,
I would say he probably gets as much, and it's even shocking, like how much the crowd is into him as a heel, like just absolute hatred for him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but separate Seth Rollins from the Authority, and where do you see his career in 6 months?
I mean, you know who I would liken him to? I think he's kind of he'll be like a Mr. Perfect type wrestler. He's going to be a top worker, but never be the world champion. He's going to always be in the mix, like Brian Pillman was in WCW, or even how he was supposed to be in WWE.
Ambrose or Rollins?
Rollins.
Okay, I can see that.
That's what I think he's going to always be there in that role. Even like Benoit, and I'm not making a joke, Benoit played before he became the world champion in WWE. Or even in WCW when he had the feuds with Kevin Sullivan. I think that's the role Seth Rollins is going to play. That guy you can always put into a match, always going to be legit, but I don't see it. I think he's awesome. He's a great worker, but I just don't see him as the guy. Dean Ambrose has everything it needs to be the guy, and this is so crazy to say something like this so soon. You guys know I've been a big fan of him since the first time he got on TV and got on the mic. This guy, I can tell you right now, is going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame someday. No doubt about it. Barring an injury. He's got all the goods.
Barring an injury where you're pulling a Chris Benoit.
Right. But, I don't know. I like Ambrose a lot, and I think he's going to win, but I can see what you're saying, Kev.
Really, Seth Rollins is eventually going to be set on his own, and when he is set on his own, he's going to need as many wins on his back as he can get to be able to sustain his career, to have something to build on there. Ambrose doesn't need it, because when Ambrose is already on his own and we see what he's doing, he can go and do this day and night and day with anybody. So his money is made, his future is set, and really with his characters, wins and losses doesn't mean anything to him.
Right.
Because if he loses one night, he's back in the mayhem the next morning.
Sure.
Give that guy a Red Bull or a Monster Energy drink, and bam, he's there.
Well, that's what made Roddy Piper and Mick Foley so great, because they didn't win a whole lot of money matches, but just their characters and how loose cannons they were, they could really get under someone's skin and get right back into a feud pretty easily, just because of the nature of their characters is to wreak havoc. So I do see what you're saying.
But the thing is, Ambrose can really wrestle.
Oh yeah,
like Mick Foley,
Piper could.
I mean,
Piper
a little bit better than Foley. But
well, let's be honest. They didn't hire Mick Foley to go in there and throw hammer locks and headlocks.
Mick Foley was not a great wrestler, but I do think Roddy Piper was a great wrestler.
Oh yeah, absolutely great.
But I do agree with Mick Foley. He was so physical, and he told the story in the ring. I think it made him great. But you guys are right. Dean Ambrose is, even to those guys. I mean, it's hard to compare the generations, but Ambrose is a superior worker. Ambrose might be a superior worker to everybody in the WWE right now, in my opinion. But it's clearly the money match, and the fact that we're talking about it first tells you it's the money match. Sorry, John. Sorry, Randy. Speaking of, who do you guys think will go on to the WWE title match versus Brock Lesnar?
Orton.
Why?
I feel like he's getting sort of almost like a Bray Wyatt heat, where he's not going to turn face, but he's getting like the respect, the heel respect. And I think that Seth Rollins being so hated, he got more hated by doing that to Orton tonight. But he also got Orton a little bit of like, oh shit, he just took that move. Like, what the hell's up with that? So I think that I think he's going to sort of turn into like a similar character, obviously a much better wrestler, but similar as far as like crowd reaction to Bray Wyatt. And I could see him wrestling. I couldn't see him 2 weeks ago. I couldn't say that I see him wrestling Brock Lesnar at the next pay-per-view. Now I can.
It's intriguing, and I agree with you. I think Randy Orton goes over as well. I think Seth will cash in after Orton loses to Brock, and I think Seth will be sent away with his money in the bank to Brock. I'm with you. I think Orton somehow is going to win this match. Maybe it's a backfired interference against Randy Orton by Rollins. Who knows? But I think Orton will find a way to get the job done, and Orton has Cena's number, man. In some of their biggest matches,
you have to remember, Kane doesn't have a match either.
Right. Orton will find a way to win this. He has Cena's number. Certain guys have certain guys' number, and Orton has Cena's. That's my opinion. Divas title. Paige, AJ, Lee. I already said AJ for a variety of reasons. What do you think?
AJ is definitely more obtainable, so I'd go with AJ.
Pretty much. Now, Kev, we forgot to ask you. Cena or Orton?
Orton.
A sweep. Why do you think?
For exactly all the same reasons both of you've said.
Excellent. Yeah, they could go either way, though. I mean, I could see it the other way around as well. Rusev, Big Show, guys.
Please be Rusev. Please.
Can you believe we're saying that? Can you believe that I hate Rusev more than any superstar ever, and I want him to beat Big Show. I don't want Big Show getting this win.
The Big Show is freaking fat too. Like, he's like really, really out of shape.
Man, I miss old Big Show when he was the Giant, or when he first came in. They really made a joke of him. It's too bad. Kev, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna assume you agree with us with Rusev.
please be Rusev, but it's going to be Big Show.
Really? You really think that?
I think, yeah. I think they're going to put an end to the Rusev feud here, and I don't want them to. But I mean, seriously, take a hard look at it. Big Show knocks him out in a meaningless way. Rock comes out and kicks the crap out of Rusev. What is left for Rusev? WWE was hell-bent on destroying their only monster, heel, and this is going to be the sad culmination of it.
Why couldn't Swagger do it? Swagger, dude, he was on fire.
I know. Really, it should have been Swagger all along.
If Big Show goes over and they didn't give us the Swagger, dude, that's bullshit. Because Big Show is so limited, and his career could end any day, and no one takes him serious. I have no problem with Paul White. I have a problem with the way WWE over the last decade has booked Big Show, and they have done damage where he can never, ever, ever recover. See, here's the thing: Mark Henry, he cleanly jobbed out to Rusev, passed out, whatever. I could book an angle where I could make Mark Henry a legit threat and book him strong, just like they did for 2 years when he was holding the world title. I think he's still a credible wrestler. Big Show has no credibility. None. And I really hope you're wrong, Kev. Now, Dust Brothers versus Usos, I see no reason you would just move the titles to Goldust and Stardust, have them lose. I predict them. What do you guys think?
I will agree.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna say, you know what? Let the Star Brothers win it, but I want to see the Ascension, I want to see a new tag team in the fray.
I hope so. They need more.
The team's so freaking stale right now. What's holding those guys back?
Dude, if it wasn't for Cody Rhodes really running with this character, the tag team division would be horrible right now. He saved the little bit of tag team credibility they have left.
Yeah, but I'm saying, why aren't they bringing another tag team up? I mean, the division's ripe to bring some people in.
I can tell you what I think, dude. I personally think that there's a bunch of guys down at NXT that are clearly ready to go up, right? So you have Ascension, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville. You have a bunch of guys down there that are ready to definitely to make the leap. And my opinion is the only thing I can think is there is going to be, and I know I hate to use the word because we've seen so many of them, I think there is going to be some kind of invasion angle. So they have all these new international superstars. You have Hideo Itami, who is Kenta. You have Finn Balor, who is Prince Devitt, or whatever his name is. And Kevin Steen from Ring of Honor. They give him some stupid name. I think they're going to try and do some big invasion angle with all these guys at the same time. Because why else would they have been down there for so long? Especially the Ascension. I mean, they're like the best tag team WWE has now, and they're not in the WWE. So I have to think they're doing something with this group. Who knows? I don't know.
You know what? The one thing I'll say is, at least this week and last week too. And again, I don't know. These might be the last two Raws I've watched, or the first two Raws I've watched in 3 months from start to finish. I like, part of it's probably Monday Night Football too, but I like it when, like, literally, okay, at 10 o'clock, Cena's coming out to cut a promo with Randy Orton. At 9 o'clock, Ambrose and Seth Rollins are cutting a promo with Mick Foley. Like, I like that. I'd rather have that than have some half-ass put-together match. I'd rather have them get on a mic and do something. And it just seems like they've cut out a lot of the filler. Like, they don't have Los Matadors wrestling a match, or I don't even know who else. But it seems like they cut a match or two out that are,
because they realize they realize talent. They realize they have talent. They realize they have talent and they're letting it work.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what, I could have watched an entire episode with the 4 individuals plus Kane who are in the 2 pay-per-view matches. I could probably watch 75% of the episode based on them and their feuds and their interactions. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were a couple of good matches, but I don't necessarily need to see a Jack Swagger versus Tyson Kidd match.
Right. I agree. It was a great Raw. This is a great Raw. There's no doubt about it. was a great Raw, and they really represented the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view well. So, you know what? It should be an exciting pay-per-view for sure.
All right, now I have a quick number one projection. Number two, a quick. I want to ask you for your prediction on this. My projection is Big Show somehow manages to lose, and either during the match or after the match, Mark Henry gets involved and ends up starting a feud with Big Show as the heel.
No, please no.
Anyway, that's they were sort of teased it for a while, and then they stopped, and they've sort of backed off in the last couple weeks.
Who in their right mind wants to see another Big Show Mark Henry match? It's been done so many times.
I was going to say, we need matches like that for the pre-show on pay-per-views now. But my second question is, I want to get your prediction. Assuming Rusev wins today, or this week, who beats him?
I hate to say it, but I think he's being saved for John Cena.
I wouldn't mind seeing Cena beat him.
Oh, I wouldn't either. I hate Rusev, and I actually respect Cena. It's not that I don't. Well, I want to make. It's not that I don't respect Paul White. I don't respect Big Show, and I don't mean Paul White the man. I mean Big Show the character.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what about this for the next pay-per-view? John Cena loses to Randy Orton. John Cena ends up facing Rusev. Orton, Lesnar, and then either a rematch of Rollins Ambrose, or have a 4-man match with Rollins, Ambrose, Lesnar, and Randy Orton.
That'd be a good match. I'd watch that.
The only thing, I'm surprised that they don't have what's his name isn't involved. Kane.
Well, I just guess it's just because of an odd number of wrestlers. To me, the money match that probably nobody wants to see, but I want to see Lesnar versus Rusev so bad. I want to see
that. That would be a good match. I wouldn't mind seeing Lesnar, and this probably is never going to happen. Lesnar versus Cesaro.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, you got to match up Lesnar with the right guys. I mean, just visually, Lesnar's such a big badass. I mean, you can't put little Daniel Bryan, or you can't put Ambrose Rollins. They're too small. Well, I think that's a good example. CM Punk's not actually a small guy at all, but he looked very small up against Brock Lesnar. I mean, he just. I mean,
Brock's twice the size of him as far as thickness is concerned.
Oh God, yeah. It's like my penis and your penis. Yours is way more thicker. Fights your size. Well, anyway, on that note, Kev, anything you want to plug tonight for the station?
I just want everybody to, this week, go and send an email message, a Facebook post, or a tweet out to our site owner, Stevie J, and just let them know how much the fans appreciate all the work that he does for AngryMarks.com. He is really the man. He busts his ass week in, week out promoting this site, and I'll be a little honest. He's feeling a little run down right now. He's feeling a little stressed out. He's working overtime to promote this site and do good things with it. And, I get a lot of credit week in and week out for the work that I do, especially on the podcast. But really, Stevie J does so much of the work to put the ink on the paper, so to speak, in the digital age. He's pulling the 12 hours days making this site happen. So send a message to Stevie J and just let him know how much we love him.
And what is his email address?
You don't need his email address. You can email him through the site. Go to AngryMarks.com and click on the contact button. You can send a message that way.
Is he okay?
What this is my address in case I want to send him a bouquet of what is it? Fruit flowers?
Edible arrangements.
Edible arrangements. I might send him one of those.
That would be good. Sign him up for Beer of the Month Club.
Is he okay? Is he all right?
Oh yeah, I mean he's fine. He's just stressed out and a little overworked right now. And I mean you know how that goes when you're just busting your ass and your ass for like 2 or 3 weeks. I mean I know Vic doesn't know what that's like because he's on vacation every other week.
I know how to solve Stevie's problem.
How do we solve Stevie's problem?
You were going to send him an escort?
No, we shut down AngryMarks.com. I mean, that would make it go away, right?
I don't think that's the solution. We're not shutting down.
I'm gonna send him a message and congratulate him on his great decision making and having people like myself and Killer Kevin Angry Tensai doing awesome shows like this.
Oh God, yeah. So let me ask you, Kev. I mean, he had to be proud of that chicken head went out over his podcasting airwaves? I mean, that must have been a real feather in his cap.
It was a memorable week.
Has he addressed chicken head?
I know. I think
he might have given up at this point. Either he's given up, or Kev is the best editor ever.
The chicken head's still there. Anyway,
I didn't listen. That's awesome. It's still there.
One more thing I wanted to plug: tomorrow night, Undisputed Wrestling Show. This guest is so big, we're not even booking anybody else on the show tomorrow night. It is going to be for as long as he wants to talk, and if we can make it 90 minutes, if we can make it 2 hours, we'll be blessed to do it. We have one of the biggest, most influential writers and editors in pro wrestling news.
Stevie J?
No, not Stevie J.
Oh.
He's second biggest, though. Be sure to send him a message. Bill Apter.
Ooh, that's big. That's really big.
It is so big, we've cleared the board for him. We're just going to go all out. We're not going to take any phone calls for it, but you want to ask Mr. Apter a question about anything, got to be in the chat room to do it. AngryMarks.com/chat. You don't have to register. You can change your nickname to whatever you want, but if you want to ask Mr. Apter a question, if you want a chance to hear your question asked, you have to be in the chat room to ask it.
How did we get Bill Apter?
We are working on those connections every week, and coming up in the next couple weeks, we're going to have Tracy Smothers. We're going to have Big Russ Jones, a big independent wrestler out on the scene right now, and we're going to have a return guest. We've had them both on individually before. You've seen them in Ring of Honor, the Last Warrior, Grey Wolf, and Red Scorpion together on one show, the Bloodbound Warriors, coming in November.
Interesting.
What about Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah, what about Ultimate Warrior?
We are working on finding somebody who can put together a seance for us.
I got a Ouija board.
I don't know if you guys thought about this, but we want to do something big, we want to do something huge, and we want to get the best talent. Why don't we just get John Cena on the air? I mean, that would be big.
Okay, then which one of you is going to imitate the little kid that's dying?
Oh man, dude!
Oh damn!
No, Kev, no, not good.
You better edit yourself out there.
I mean, if you can do that, then maybe we can arrange something through Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Back to Chicken Head. Back to more happy.
There you go. That's who it is. That's who it is. Chicken Head. Chicken Head is dying.
Yeah, he has your ultimate editing, Kev. Just splice together a whole bunch of shit that John Cena's said over the last 20 years.
He's gonna
just ask him different questions, and he'll just come out and rap for part of it, and then just regular answer for part of it, and a hustle, loyalty, respect. That'd be awesome if you just splice together. It'd be like deadlift reading with the NFL.
Oh man. Well, you know what? This has been a pleasure tonight, guys. And everyone, send your wishes and your prayers to Stevie J. Please send your prayers to Stevie J. We wish for a quick recovery for Stevie J. And we're with you, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. For everybody here at Angry Marks, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks to Big Dick and Killer Kev. We'll see you next week. If there's something you guys want to add, I think we'll hit the music. Anything you guys want to add?
Hit the music?
Hit the music.